Alright everybody, how's it going? I'm going to do a few videos on hobby supplies, hobby resources, hobby tools. Um, I don't know how many videos it's going to be, but it's going to start off with Games Workshop stuff. For a couple of reasons. I have Games Workshop stuff that I can talk about, a variety. And B, I play 40k, pretty much, exclusively. I'm planning on learning Battletech, and that's, I do the specialist games a little bit of BFG from Games Workshop, but pretty much I play 40k. Therefore, with that being said, um, firstly I look at Games Workshop for stuff, for models. I use their paints, things of that nature, and I don't care if you're pro or against Games Workshop. I'm neutral. I don't care either way. They don't pay me, and they don't penalize me, so I don't care. But um, Games Workshop is a hobby company that's all encompassing. It offers everything that you would need for the hobby to get into it. It offers the rule books, obviously, in the form of the big rule books, the codices, and whatnot. It gives you the models, obviously, to play for their game. Um, so you get the rules, the models. It gives you paints to paint them up, uh, paint brushes to paint them with, spray paint, spray gun. It gives you dice to roll with to play the game, measuring tape to play the game. It also has a laser pointer thing for true line of sight, and they offer extra bases. They offer basing material, basing kits. They offer terrain. They offer battle mats, I believe. They offer a those I call them battle tiles. You can get to make a full basically battlefield that you can put terrain on. They offer how-to books. They offer um, green stuff and liquid green stuff. They offer paints, like I said. I meant to say glues. They offer glues. Um, they pretty much offer everything we need to get into the hobby and play it. Short of doing, um, specific specialty stuff like lighting up your models or magnetizing, they don't offer stuff for that. But for everything else, pretty much the only thing you need is an area to play the game on, like a table or something large enough to play the game on, and then they offer everything you need to set the stage, set the terrain, make it look cool, learn the game, play the game, and get. They offer hobby supplies, files, clippers, hobby knife. They offer it all. So because of that, somebody getting into 40k who's probably watching, if you're watching my channel, you probably have some sort of interest in 40k. If not to play it, you just like the idea of it. I'm guessing. Um, but somebody getting into 40k would be probably going to Games Workshop's website or Games Workshop store if it's close by for them, and figuring it out from there. So they have options. So I went and I had some stuff already, and some hobby supplies, resources, tools, whatever came out. So I bought a few, not because I needed them. Will I get use out of them? Sure, I can always figure a way to get use out of pretty much anything. But I went ahead and bought it for the viewers, for the subscribers, um, benefit. I bought it for you guys to get knowledge on should you get something like get this or get something else, something like it from a different company, whatever. So first up on the block is the Heavy Metal Masterclass book. It's kind of a how-to paint book, but they have those already from Games Workshop and everywhere else. I would say this is more of a step up from the basics. They don't go over the basics here. They go over specific techniques to get a certain result. They get like this flesh tone. They get the way the gold looks. They get faces and hair. A particular thing. They do some object source lighting. They go over things I think to paint gems and vials and whatnot. Painting fire. They go over things like that. And it's the Heavy Metal team, and they paint pretty well, I would say. I like the way they paint stuff. And basically what you have here is a list of all the models here represented specifically. So if we go to here to Elrond, um, if you want to paint a skin tone like this, you can do it on any model. It just happens to be this Elrond model. So firstly, the important thing to take away from this, as with any how-to, is don't worry about the model it's on. If you have a model that has things you want to paint in a similar scheme, you can do that. Here we have a Dark Eldar, we have a Space Wolf, we have a Chaos Dude. Some showcase here to show you different models they painted up. Overall though, I'm a bit disappointed with the Heavy Metal Masterclass. The how-to books, specifically how-to books, and since this doesn't say how-to, it's not really a how-to book, it's kind of similar. But the how-to books that Games Workshop has put out before, that they have still to offer, are very much a book to learn from. I think they do a pretty good job, pretty decent job for a book. The whole debate of book versus video, whatever, it doesn't matter here. This is a masterclass thing. It shows you what they did and the steps they went to do it. It's kind of a how-to. They go over how they did it, but I would say it's more for, I would say, advanced painting. If you're brand new to painting miniatures, unless you've painted stuff in the past or have artistic know-how already and knack or just natural talent for it, you probably wouldn't want to start off with this book trying to replicate certain techniques. Then again, maybe you would. I don't know. Me personally, I would be put off by a book like this. It's not much to it in terms of how to. And another thing, if these models look familiar, that's because they are. They've done, I think, most, if not all of these on a White Dwarf issue. Different White Dwarf issues. So, what you got here is a collection of the different White Dwarf stuff. Here we got the Sanguinor, which is probably the coolest one they offer because it shows a full non-metallic metal model. But they've done them already. If you have White Dwarf and a subscription to White Dwarf, chances are you have, depending on how long your subscription has been for, you have everything in here, or most everything. I can't tell you for sure if it's every single thing from here is from White Dwarf, but it looks like it's that type of thing. Not bad. It's basically it brings everything together into one book instead of fiddling through your White Dwarf issues trying to find how to paint the Sanguinor, for example. And I think he was in a White Dwarf. You can go ahead and just get this and have that and everything else pretty much right at your fingertips, just thumb through it. It's not everything they've ever painted, but it's a decent selection to show you different things they do. In the end, you can find how to paint non-metallic metals, you can find how to do object source lighting, and you can find how to do like gemstones and glass jars and all that on the internet for free, and multiple different techniques on how to do it. So really, at $30, I think it's $30, it's not overpriced in the extreme. I think it is a bit pricey, but and again, for a book of this kind of overall dimensions, it's not that far off of the scope. Before what you get, I'm a little disappointed. I expected more, like, quote unquote tips and secrets for certain techniques, and really you can find pretty much any painting technique on the internet for free. So really it's the convenience factor of having it at your fingertips all the time, and again having all these heavy metal things from White Dwarf in one issue of book. Overall though, I'm not going to say it's outrageous, because the price isn't outrageous. If they want $40, it would be ridiculous. But $30, yeah, it's up there in price, but I've seen other books this size from other companies for same price, so I'm not going to say they're doing something crazy there. It's just not something that I thought it would be. I thought it would be more actual technique discussion here, and they do have it. It's just pictures of every step, which is nice, like you saw when I thumbed through it, and then a little blurb underneath each step showing you like the paints they use in the mixture. It is handy, but overall I was a bit disappointed with the book. You could probably put $30 better spent elsewhere. Now, second thing up, we're going to do a double header here, is the heavy metal paint brush thing, where you got two paintbrush of, I don't know paintbrushes. I'm not some guru on paintbrushes. This could be the holy grail of materials that they use to make paintbrushes. I don't know. I do know that I have not used them, but I've handled the brushes and felt the bristles, carefully and everything like that, and they feel good. It feels like a nice brush. It feels like a quality brush. That doesn't mean you're going to be starting to paint amazingly. So, firstly, you get the tin, 2 paintbrushes, which are in the tin, 2 things of medium, which are matte, um, uh, liquid. I forget what they actually called it, but it basically lets you make a gloss. Not a gloss, a glaze. My bad. It lets you make a glaze. It's a matte, so that makes sense. It's a matte material, a matte medium that lets you make a glaze with your paints. I thought that was interesting. That was the most interesting part of this entire thing to me. It comes to a little heavy metal pamphlet thing. It's little hints and tips, like experiment with colors, keep it simple, and a little blurb on what they mean. Thin your paints. That's cool. No how-tos, but at least it's a nice little, like, tip little thing. I'll go into the mediums in a second. You get the heavy metal tin that holds the 2 paintbrushes, plus you can hold other paintbrushes. So as a transportable thing, it's handy. The paintbrushes are nice. They look a little different from the standard paintbrushes. They say, I think I have upside down. They say heavy metal. This is a large brush, and then you have like a detail brush. And again, the quality of the brush is there. It's just I don't know anything about brushes. I don't know how great this stuff is. And this is your standard brush. So you get a large and a standard brush. It's not even really a super detailed brush that you get. Does that mean maybe they're going to produce other heavy metal paintbrushes in the future? Different sizes? I don't know. But basically, you're not guaranteed to paint better because you have a better brush. You could have the best tools in the world, but if you are not up to snuff, in terms of being able to do certain techniques or get a certain level of detail out of things, it's not going to happen. Likewise, if you are incredible and you have, cheap run-of-the-mill paintbrushes, let's say, for painting, you'll still produce great works. So it's to me, it's an issue that's not really even worth discussing. These mediums, however, you get them, the heavy metal mediums, you can make glazes out of your paints. Thought that was pretty cool. You wouldn't you have to not taint the pots. You would take them out either with a dropper or a fresh paintbrush, put them onto a palette, and then make your glaze from there. That's pretty cool. I've never done things with glazes before. Other companies also offer like glaze mediums, so it's not unique. I will be interested to see if Games Workshop goes out and produces these to buy separately. I think they should, if anything else. I think that's the best thing to come out of this entire little paintbrush kit thing here. $50 is the damage. And I think this is pricey. I think this is too pricey for what you get. If this was $40, I would say, if you're intrigued, go for it. Now again, of course, some of you may be in high school still. Some of you may not have a job or have a part-time job. $50 is expensive. So is 30. But if it was 40, if this thing was 40, I would say, you know what, it's a bit pricey, but you're getting 2 brushes out of it, a transport tin, some mediums that you can't get from Games Workshop elsewise, and this little pamphlet thing, which is okay. But you can get mediums elsewhere. You can get fine brushes for cheaper elsewhere. You can get a tin, or even just get something else that you have ready. I don't know, a bag to transport your brushes, as long as they got that little cover on them like these had. And you don't even need this. You just go online and find tips from pro painters anyway. So really, I think this is just outright overpriced, I feel, and you can spend that money better elsewhere. For an extra $5, you can get the entire paintbrush set from Citadel for their regular paintbrushes. For an extra $5, you get the entire set of them. So that'd be better worth it than getting this, in my opinion. But that's it for this video. I have more to come. I have more Games Workshop things to talk about, and then eventually I have non-Games Workshop things to talk about. So it's just tools that I have or picked up to do for you guys. Again, I'm doing it for you guys, the viewers, so you're better equipped with information to know, should I get this or should I get something else, or is it not worth it at all? So that's it, and until next time, take it easy.